The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Chris Burton in this morning for Alex Fisher. Your time now is 5:02 and making news around town. It was an emotional evening for those impacted by crime, as the district attorney's office held its Crime Victims March yesterday for the first time since 2019. 17's Moses Small reports the event honors crime victims as well as law enforcement and survivors.
This is National Crime Victims Awareness Week, bringing attention to the stories of crime victims. Wednesday's march started here at the county courthouse. Dozens of families came out to honor their lost loved ones.
I'm just here to honor my brother, who unfortunately was killed in November.
This year's march focuses on all victims and survivors, with an emphasis on people who lost their lives to drunk driving. District Attorney Cynthia Zimmer says our community saw twice as many deaths from DUI crashes last year compared to 2020. Brittany Embry Carrington lost her husband to a drunk driver in this crash 9 years ago.
The image of him inside of his cab, his clean work clothes, his coffee cup right next to his hand, laying there dead, is something that will never leave me. The poor choices of a man who killed my husband left me widowed at 24 and my 2-year-old son fatherless.
This comes as other crimes surge in Kern County. 17 News data shows at least 36 people have lost their lives to violence so far this year. This comes after Kern saw 137 homicides in 2021, just 3 short of 2020's all-time high of 140. That's the year Bertha Rodriguez lost her son, Alvaro Isaias Rodriguez Gauna. It happened just days before he would have turned 21.
But 4 individuals came to his car trying to get him off the car, and when his friend stepped on the gas to try to get away, they shot at the car with 4 other people in the vehicle, and they shot the car, and my son was one of them that got impacted by a gun bullet and died in my daughter's arm.
If you or a loved one have been impacted by crime, you can call the Victim Services Unit at the District Attorney's Office at 868-2400. In Bakersfield, Moses Small, 17 News.
In developing news this morning, the search is on for a local business owner who was last seen on Tuesday. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is asking for help finding 44-year-old Christian Gonzalez, owner of the Downtown Spot on 17th Street in downtown Bakersfield. Gonzalez was last seen around 4 a.m. on Tuesday on Monica Street near Pioneer Drive in East Bakersfield. A woman who works in the same space as Gonzalez says he and his wife are familiar faces in the area.
They're here from sunup to sundown, busy. You know, they cater to all of downtown area, the courthouse, the school district around the corner, everybody. We order practically every day, you know, probably twice a day. They're here working.
Deputies say Gonzalez is known to drive a white 2013 Toyota Tundra crew cab. If anyone has information about his whereabouts, they're asked to contact the Kern County Sheriff's Office at 861-3110 or the Kern Secret Witness line at 322-4040.
Your time now is 5:06. Homelessness is an issue we cover extensively here at KGET, and a new report is out which details the current homeless population and statistics in Kern County. The report by the Bakersfield-Kern Regional Homeless Collaborative shows more than 50% of people who are homeless live in shelters. There's an increase of 300 people in shelters since the last report was made in 2020. That brings the total to 875 people across the county who live in those shelters. Unfortunately, 10% of those people are children. The point-in-time report says in total there are 1,603 homeless people in Kern County. 167 are kids, 95 are veterans.
Homelessness continues to be a steady number in our community, but the big exciting component is that we have a lot more folks going into shelter than we ever have before.
The report also says 360 homeless people suffer from serious mental illness, while 501 have substance use disorders. 72 are considered survivors of domestic violence and 3 are unsheltered. You can get more information on the report at kget.com.
Good time now, 5:07. Making news around the nation this morning. Newly released audio recordings from after the January 6th riot are dividing Washington Republicans. In the audio, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is heard warning of even more violence. Garrett Hawk has reaction from the Capitol.
Top House Republican Kevin McCarthy under fire from some fellow lawmakers for leaked comments he made in the aftermath of January 6th, criticizing then-President Trump and some of his own members, including Florida's Matt Gaetz. Audio recordings released by the New York Times.
Well, he's putting people in jeopardy, and he doesn't need to be doing this. We saw what people would do in the Capitol, and these people came prepared with rope, with everything else.
Gaetz firing back. This is the behavior of weak men, not leaders. McCarthy also complaining on the January 10th call about incendiary tweets, including from Alabama's Barry Moore.
Can't they take their Twitter accounts away too?
In a closed-door meeting, McCarthy addressed his critics directly, and rank-and-file members appeared to rally around the man who could be their next speaker.
He got a standing ovation. He'll be speaker.
This is simply a distraction by the left.
In the recorded call, McCarthy also fretted over the possibility of more political violence if members didn't turn down their rhetoric.
Tension is too high. The country is too crazy. I do not want to look back and think we caused something or we missed something and someone got hurt. I don't want to play politics with any of that.
The remarks leading to renewed calls from January 6 committee members for McCarthy to testify.
I think he has a responsibility as, potentially soon to be the caretaker of the institution as Speaker, to come in and say what he knows, to do it truthfully, and let history be the judge.
The most pivotal reaction to McCarthy's comments will come from one Republican who wasn't in the room, former President Donald Trump, who so far has remained in McCarthy's corner.
Garrett Hake reporting. Your time now is 5:09. 5 people are dead, including the suspect, following a hotel shooting and carjacking in Mississippi yesterday. A man suspected of killing 4 people was found dead after a standoff with authorities at a convenience store. He was suspected of shooting the owner of the Broadway Inn as well as 2 employees. The suspect also carjacked and shot another man who was later pronounced dead at a local hospital.
And now to last night's Powerball drawing, and after more than 2 months, there is finally a winner. The winning numbers are 11, 36, 61, 62, 68, and Powerball 4. One ticket worth an estimated $454 million was bought in Arizona. This is the 30th drawing since the last winner back on February 14th.
Not too shabby. 5:33, and in your 17 court watch this morning, Bakersfield police yesterday announced the arrests of 17 people as part of an operation targeting retail theft. The 2-day operation happened on April 14th and 15th on Ming Avenue near the Valley Plaza Mall. According to BPD, the arrests included 4 juveniles and 13 adults for 11 separate thefts. Police say more than $2,900 in stolen property was recovered, including clothing and cosmetics.
Well, BPD needs your help identifying a man involved in a stabbing in downtown Bakersfield. The incident happened back on March 27th at about 2 a.m. on 19th Street near N Street. Police say the suspect and the victim had gotten into an altercation when he took out a knife and stabbed the victim. The victim is expected to survive. Anyone with information can call BPD at 327-7111.
And now to an issue we cover extensively here at TV 17, pedestrian safety. The coroner has identified a woman who was killed when she was hit by a truck in Oildale earlier this week. It happened Monday night just before 8 p.m. on North Chester Avenue and China Grade Loop. CHP says 63-year-old Cheryl Ann Bowling was hit as she crossed the intersection in a wheelchair. CHP says drugs and alcohol were not involved and speed was not a factor. By our count, this is the 16th pedestrian fatality in Kern County this year.
5:34 your time now, and in your 17 homicide tracker this morning, a Bakersfield man has been charged in connection to his baby's death last fall. On September 15th, 2021, officers responded to a report of a 7-week-old infant not breathing at a home on Waterbury Drive. The baby was taken to the hospital where investigators say trauma consistent with child abuse was discovered. The infant was later declared dead. Following the investigation, 35-year-old Gregory Higgins, the child's biological father, was identified as the suspect. Bakersfield police arrested Higgins Monday afternoon at Hillcrest Mortuary. Higgins pled not guilty in court yesterday and is being held without bail. We reached out to Higgins and his family, but both declined to comment.
And now to a somber anniversary as the Bakersfield Police Department honors Canine Django, killed 1 year ago. Police say the canine was shot 3 times while attempting to catch a convicted felon after a chase of a stolen vehicle. Django was a Belgian Malinois and was born in the Netherlands on November 15, 2015. He was assigned to his human partner and best friend, Officer Brock Mueller, in March 2017. Django served the community of Bakersfield in the field of suspect apprehension and explosive material detection. A bronze statue of Django was installed in front of the Bakersfield Police Department headquarters in memory of the fallen canine, with the department saying Django is greatly missed by all.
Well, the trial of Matthew Queen was delayed again yesterday. Queen, accused of killing Michael Holsenbake in 2018, appeared in court yesterday with a cut and bruising to his face. Judge Charles R. Bremer told the jury it was obvious Queen had been injured and postponed proceedings until this morning. Bremer did not disclose how Queen was hurt and told the jury they're not to consider it. Prosecutors say Queen and his ex-girlfriend Bailey Despot tortured and killed Michael Holsenbake over a stolen gun in 2018. Queen faces numerous other charges, ranging from kidnapping to manufacturing illegal guns. And in your 17 Court Watch this morning, a woman was sentenced to 8 years and 8 months in prison yesterday for stabbing and killing another woman during a fight over a man. Before the hearing, a small crowd protested outside the courthouse, arguing Jennifer Maldonado deserved harsher punishment. Maldonado's roommate told police he drove to her home in May 2020 to get money from her. As he entered the house, Maldonado learned 26-year-old Angelina Marie Carmen Betts was with him. That's when police say Maldonado went outside and began fighting Betts over a relationship with a male, and the roommate said Maldonado stabbed Betts. Another witness tried to drive Betts to a hospital, but crashed. Maldonado evaded arrest for months before U.S. Marshals took her into custody in January of 2021.
In making news around the state, a California Highway Patrol officer was shot last night during a chase in San Diego. The officer was reportedly shot twice in the hip on eastbound Interstate 8 in the Mission Valley area. The officer was taken to a nearby hospital and has undergone surgery. He's said to be in serious but stable condition. A suspect was taken into custody.
And a close call for a driver in Malaga. Yesterday morning, CHP says the driver went around some crossing arms and got stuck on train tracks. Officers say the driver was able to get out of the car before it was hit by the train. Thankfully, no injuries were reported.
And now to the coronavirus. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the U.S. is out of the pandemic phase. He says it's because the country isn't reporting tens of thousands of new infections, hospitalizations, or deaths each day. Dr. Fauci says it's different in other parts of the world where the pandemic is still ongoing. He also warned that the virus cannot be wiped out completely and long-term vaccination programs may need to continue on a yearly basis. The comments come as the CDC predicts new COVID-19 hospitalizations will likely go up nationwide in the coming weeks following an uptick in cases.
And Moderna has asked U.S. to authorize its COVID-19 vaccine for children under 6, which may make shots available by this summer.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.